Hey guys, my name is MacKenzie and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about all the books I read in the month of February. So if you're looking for some book recommendations or are interested in what I read this month, then keep on watching. So I read a total of 7 books this month, which is about average for me. I try to read about 8 books per month. So the first book I read in the month of February is called Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. This is about a girl named Lux and her boyfriend Nico who live in Hawaii, and they have big dreams of sailing around the world. So when 2 rich college girls approach them with the opportunity to sail to a remote island and they will pay them, Lux and Nico cannot say no. The remote island that they want to travel to is known for weird things taking place, such as mysterious shipwrecks and even rumors of murders happening on the island, but they decide to go anyway because YOLO, why not? When they get to this island, they are surprised to see that there is already another boat there and are greeted by a couple from Australia. So now there are 6 people on this island and weird things start happening. Someone goes missing, another person ends up dead, and Lux starts to wonder whether or not she will make it off this island alive. So I gave this book 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed it in the beginning. I absolutely loved Lux's character. I thought she was really realistic and was easy to relate to. I also loved the setting of this book taking place in Hawaii. It gave me major vacation and summer vibes. I also liked that this book was fast-paced, but at the same time, nothing really happened until the last 50 pages of the book, kind of when all the action starts happening, and I felt like the ending was very rushed. It was kind of like, okay, like, we're getting towards the end of the book, let's just wrap it up. I felt like the ending was just like, wow, like what just happened? That's the reason why I rated it lower, because I did really enjoy it in the beginning, but towards the end it was just like what? Overall, it was an easy read. I really liked the setting of the book. I just wish the ending wasn't so rushed. I then decided to read 4 books written by Taylor Jenkins Reid. She's one of my favorite authors. I read Malibu Rising, Daisy Jones and the Six, which is my favorite, and The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I absolutely love her writing styles, so I then decided to pick up 4 more of her books. So the second book I read in February is called One True Loves. This is a romance book about a girl named Emma, and in her 20s, she decides to marry her high school sweetheart named Jesse, and they're very adventurous people. They decide to move out of their hometown, and they start traveling the world together. On their first wedding anniversary, Jesse decides to take a trip, I believe it's to Alaska, in a helicopter ride, but the helicopter goes missing and Jesse is gone forever. Like, he's nowhere to be found and they can't find him. Years later, Emma is now 30, she moved back home, and she's starting to fall in love again with an old friend named Sam. Soon, Sam and Emma get engaged, and while they're out to dinner one night, Emma gets a phone call from an unknown number, and on the line is Jesse. And yes, he is alive, and he's been trying all these years to get back to Emma. So now Emma has a husband and a fiance, and she has to decide which one she wants and who is her one true love. I absolutely love this book. I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was beautifully written, and throughout the whole book, you don't even know like who she's going to end up with in the end. So if you read this book, let me know in the comments down below who you wanted her to end up with and if you were happy with the ending. I actually really enjoyed the ending of the book. This was also a really quotable book. I highlighted lots of quotes in this novel, and I would highly recommend reading this. The next book I read by Taylor Jenkins Reid is called Maybe in Another Life. This is a romance book, and it follows a young woman named Hannah. She's 29 years old, and she's kind of moved around her whole life. She's never stayed in one spot. So she decides to move from New York City back to her hometown in LA and move in with her best friend, Gabby. One night, Hannah and Gabby are at a bar, and Hannah runs into her old high school boyfriend named Ethan. Around midnight, Gabby is ready to leave, but Ethan suggests to Hannah that if she wants to stay longer, Ethan will give her a ride home. So now Hannah is left with 2 options. She can either leave with her friend Gabby and go back home, or stay longer and leave with Ethan. The story is told in alternating chapters, and we see the 2 different scenarios unfold with each decision that Hannah makes. So the book shows what happens in Hannah's life when she decides to leave with Gabby, but also what happens when she decides to leave with Ethan, and how like her life has changed throughout it based on just one decision that she makes. I wasn't expecting to enjoy this book as much as I did, and I gave it 4.5 stars. I really liked it because it brings up the topic of different parallel universes and kind of how everything happens for a reason, and not everything in your life you can control. You kind of just have to let it go and like see how it plays out. So next I read After I Do, another romance book. This follows Lauren and Ryan. They are a married couple, but their marriage has hit a breaking point. So they decide to come up with a plan. 1 year apart and only one rule: they cannot contact each other. So that means they can't call each other, they can't see each other, no letters, no text messages, nothing for a whole year, but anything else goes. During the 1 year, Lauren is on a self-finding journey, and she tries to figure out what she wants in life and kind of what she wants out of this marriage. Does she want to stick with Ryan? Should they get a divorce? And within that time, she speaks with families and friends, and she learns their views on marriage as well. Overall, I enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. I think Taylor Jenkins Reid did a really good job of explaining the ups and downs of the marriage. I felt like this book was very realistic, showing that not everything is always rainbows and butterflies. I definitely would recommend this. The last book I read by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and the 5th book I read in February, is called Forever Interrupted. This is another romance book about Elsie and Ben. They meet on New Year's Day at a pizza place, and they instantly fall in love like that. Within 6 months of meeting each other, they decide to elope. Soon after they elope and get married, Ben ends up dead. Yeah, he dies. After Ben dies, Elsie meets Susan, who is Ben's mother, for the first time. Yep, that's right. Elsie's never met Susan even before her and Ben got married. So Elsie is claiming to be Ben's wife, but Susan is like, this is my son, like me and my son are really close and I've never met you, like I don't even know who you are. Ben has never told me that he has a wife. So right off the bat, Susan and Elsie have like a really bad relationship because Susan doesn't believe Elsie. And Elsie's like, why are you being so rude to me? Like, I was so in love with your son, and like, I'm just meeting you for the first time too. Like, this is all so overwhelming. I wouldn't really consider this book a love story. Yes, we get flashbacks of Ben and Elsie's relationship, but it mostly focuses on the relationship between Elsie and Susan. I thought it was really interesting how Susan and Elsie's relationship unfolded, but I didn't enjoy this book as much as I did her other books. I rated this book 3.5 stars. I wasn't really obsessed or in love with the main character, Elsie, that much. I found her very annoying at times. Yes, like what she went through was very heartbreaking, but overall it was a good book. I could never give Taylor Jenkins Reid a bad rating because I just love all of her books. I believe this was the first book that she has written, and I would recommend reading all of her other books as well because everything after this book, I just feel like her storytelling and the way that she is written has definitely improved throughout the years and through her other books. But I would always recommend any books by Taylor Jenkins Reid. The next book I read in February is called The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yarros. This is the first book I ever read by her, and I would definitely be picking up more books by this author because I absolutely love this book. This was my favorite book that I read in the month of February. It is a romance book that follows 2 different love stories throughout the book. One is from the past about Scarlett and Jameson and their love during World War II, and the other one is in present time following Georgia, who is Scarlett's granddaughter, and her love interest, Noah. I absolutely love this book. I gave it 5 stars. It made me cry. It was so beautiful, and I just loved learning so much about World War II and just the devastating times, especially with the things that are going on now in our present day. I also really liked all the characters in this book, and at the end there's this twist that I did not see coming at all, which I really liked about the book. It grabbed my attention from the beginning. I just thought Noah was the sweetest guy. This book is just so hard to describe, but I'm telling you, if you decide to read one book from this video, this is the book that you should read because it is just so beautiful. And I will definitely be picking up more books written by this author. And the last book I read in February is called Don't Cry For Me by Danielle Black. This is my book of the month pick for February. This is a historical fiction novel about a Black father who makes amends with his gay son through letters written on his deathbed. It is a heartbreaking novel about empathy and forgiveness. Jacob writes his unspoken truths, his reaction to finding out that his only son was gay, and also he tries to make amends and kind of ask for forgiveness for his son. He knows that what he's done in the past has been very wrong, and he's trying to make peace with things before he dies. I liked this book a lot. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was very eye-opening and also very authentic. I think Danielle Black did a great job of writing this story and kind of showcasing the experiences of what life was like for Black people back in the day, but also Black gay men. And I highly would suggest reading this book. So those are all the books I read in the month of February. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you read any of these books, make sure to leave a comment down below letting me know which one was your favorite. And if you made it this far, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any more of my book videos. Make sure to follow me on Booktok and my regular TikTok, which will be linked down below. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!